94% of Mercedes owners are losing thousands each year, not through neglect, but because they were never told the truth about dealership parts pricing. Dealer markups on replacement components are among the most accepted hidden costs in the automotive world. 17 parts are consistently overpriced at dealerships, yet identical or higher quality alternatives exist elsewhere for half the price or less. This pattern is rarely clearly disclosed to vehicle owners. Let's get into it. Number 17. Engine air filters. The dealer charges between $80 and $120 for a Mercedes-branded engine air filter. The OEM supplier that manufactures the filter inside that Mercedes box is almost always Manfilter or Moly. Both companies sell their filters on Amazon and RockAuto under their own brand names for between $18 and $35. Same factory, same materials, same filtration specification, different box, different price. This is the most straightforward swap on the entire list and the one with zero risk. Look up your engine code, match the MAN or Moly part number to your specific model year, and you are done. The part number is often printed directly on the filter element inside the dealer box. Pull the old filter, read the number, cross-reference it on the MAN or Moly website, and order directions. The savings are immediate and the process takes 5 minutes. This is not a quality compromise. Manfilter supplies original equipment filters to BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, and Porsche simultaneously. The filter in your dealer box and the filter in the MAN box with a different label frequently come off the same production line in the same German facility. Never pay dealer air filter prices again. The air filter protects what enters the engine from outside. Number 16 protects what you breathe inside the cabin, and the dealer markup on it is just as absurd with zero justification. Number 16. Cabin air filters. Identical situation, different location. Mercedes cabin air filters run between $60 and $90 at the dealership. The Moly and MAN equivalents for your specific model run between $15 and $25 online. Some models use an activated carbon combination filter that runs slightly higher at $30 to $40 through direct suppliers, compared to $80 to $110 at the dealer. On most Mercedes models, the cabin filter replacement is a 10-minute job requiring no tools whatsoever. Pull the glove box liner, slide out the old filter cartridge, slide in the new one, and reinstall. The dealer charges a labor rate on top of the inflated part price for a job that requires no mechanical skill and no tools. There are hundreds of free tutorials specific to every Mercedes model on YouTube. Search your exact model year and cabin filter replacement, and you will find a walkthrough in under 2 minutes. This is a DIY job with a $10 YouTube education and a $20 part. Do it every 15,000 miles or every year, whichever comes first, and ignore the dealer pricing entirely. Clean air inside the cabin is a comfort item. What is coming up at number 15 is a safety item, and the dealer is charging you 3 times what it should cost to keep you and your family alive on the road. Number 15. Brake pads. Here is where the money gets real. Mercedes dealer. Brake pads run between $180 and $350 per axle for parts alone. The OEM supplier for Mercedes brake pads on most models is either Brembo, ATE, or Techstar. All three sell direct to consumers through Amazon, ECS Tuning, and FCP Euro at prices between $60 and $120 per axle set. Same compound, same coefficient of friction, same bite characteristics, same bedding procedure, same stopping distances on every independent test. The Mercedes logo on the dealer box adds nothing to your stopping distance and everything to the invoice total. The chemical composition of the brake pad compound is what stops your car. The box it arrived in is irrelevant. If this list is already saving you money, subscribe right now and hit the notification bell. Every video on this channel follows the engineering evidence, not the dealership's preferred revenue cycle. Always replace rotors and pads together. Bedding new pads on worn or glazed rotors transfers uneven material deposits onto the rotor surface that cause brake shudder and pulsation under heavy braking. ATA and Zimmermann slotted and drilled rotors for Mercedes models run between $40 and $90 per rotor through the same online suppliers. The dealer equivalent rotor is 2 to 3 times that number for a part sourced from the same German manufacturing base. One more detail most owners miss: buy the hardware kit with the pads. The caliper slide pins, pad retaining clips, and anti-squeal shims are consumables that should be replaced with every brake service. A complete hardware kit costs between $8 and $15. Reusing old hardware on new pads is how brake squeal starts, and it is entirely avoidable. The brakes stop the car in an emergency. Number 14 keeps the engine firing correctly on every normal start, and the dealer is selling you an $8 component in a $40 box. Number 14. Spark plugs. Mercedes dealer, spark plugs, specifically the NGK or Bosch Iridium plugs specified for your engine, cost between $25 and $45 each at the parts counter. The exact same plugs, same part number, same manufacturer, same iridium tip, same electrode gap specification, sell on Amazon and at any major auto parts store for between $8 and $18 each. On a Mercedes V6, that is 6 plugs. At dealer pricing, that is $150 to $270 in parts alone. At direct NGK or Bosch, pricing that is $48 to $108. The savings on one spark plug service covers a full tank of premium fuel, which your Mercedes requires to operate correctly regardless. The process for matching plugs is identical to air filters. The NGK or Bosch part number is stamped on the plug body. Cross-reference that number on either manufacturer's website, confirm it matches your engine code, and order directions. Do not allow substitution. The gap specification and electrode geometry on a direct injection Mercedes engine is precisely calibrated. Buy the exact specified plug, not the generic equivalent from a different manufacturer who claims compatibility. Plugs fire the combustion event inside each cylinder. Number 13 is the filter sitting directly upstream of those plugs, and the dealer markup on it is where the nickel and diming really starts to compound across multiple service visits. Number 13, oil filters. Mercedes dealer oil filters cost between $18 and $30. The man filter equivalent, which is frequently the literal manufacturer of the filter inside the dealer box, costs between $6 and $12 through Amazon or Rock Auto. The filter housing wrench specific to your Mercedes engine costs $15 and is reusable for the entire ownership life of the vehicle. If you are paying for dealer oil changes, the filter markup is bundled into the service price invisibly. You never see it as a line item. It is absorbed into the total service charge at the inflated rate without disclosure. If you are doing your own oil changes with correct MB spec oil, buying man filters direct is not optional. It is automatic. The math is obvious and the quality is identical. One additional note on oil changes. Mercedes service intervals are extended in the owner's manual beyond what the engine chemistry supports in real-world American driving conditions with ethanol-blended fuel. Change your oil every 7,000 miles. Maximum using only oil carrying the specific MB22 9.5. 1 or MB22 9.5 2 approval number. The correct oil from a specialist supplier like Liquimoli or Motul costs between $60 and $90 for a full change, including the man filter purchased separately. The dealer charges between $160 and $240 for the same service. The engineering outcome is identical or better. You change the oil filter at every service without fail. Number 12, you probably replace twice a year without even thinking about it, and the dealer is charging double for something you can install in under 2 minutes with no tools. Number 12, wiper blades. Bosch manufactures the OEM wiper blades for the vast majority of Mercedes models. The dealer sells the Mercedes branded set for between $50 and $90. Bosch sells the identical Aero Twin flat blade series, same aerodynamic profile, same rubber compound, same connector system, on Amazon for between $25 and $45 for the pair. 2-minute installation, no tools, no mechanical knowledge required. The installation instructions are printed on the Bosch packaging. Identical wipe quality, identical smear resistance, identical cold weather performance. The only difference between the dealer set and the Amazon set is whether you hand the parts counters $50 extra for a 3-pointed star on the packaging that gets thrown in the trash when the blades go on. Replace wiper blades every 12 months regardless of appearance. Rubber degrades with UV exposure and temperature cycling before the wipe streak becomes visible. By the time your wipers are visibly streaking, the rubber has been compromised for months. $12 preventive replacement beats $40 reactive replacement every time. Wipers are a wearable you replace on a predictable schedule. Number 11 is a belt and tensioner assembly that fails without warning, takes other accessory components with it when it goes, and costs dramatically more at the dealer than it should. Number 11, Serpentine, belt and tensioner. The Serpentine belt and tensioner assembly on a Mercedes runs between $250 and $400 at the dealer for parts alone. The Gates or Continental equivalent, both of which hold OEM supplier status for Mercedes-Benz globally, cost between $80 and $150 through Rock Auto or ECS tuning for the complete kit. Never replace the belt without replacing the tensioner pulley simultaneously. A new belt on a worn tensioner bearing is the most common false economy in accessory drive maintenance. The tensioner bearing has accumulated the same mileage as the belt. It runs at the same temperature and the same load. When it fails, and it fails within miles of the belt interval on a worn unit, the bearing seizes, the pulley locks, and the new belt shreds. You are then stranded on the road with a failed accessory drive that costs more to repair than the proactive tensioner replacement would have. The Gates or Continental kit that includes both the belt and the tensioner pulley assembly costs between $100 and $150 through Rock Auto. Replace both simultaneously at every belt service interval without exception. The incremental cost of the tensioner when purchased alongside the belt is $30 to $50. The cost of a roadside failure in tow is several $100s minimum before the repair invoice. The Serpentine belt drives everything on the outside of the engine. Number 10 is about what circulates through the inside of it, and the dealer coolant markup is one of the most avoidable charges on the entire service invoice because the specification is public information anyone can verify. Number 10. Coolant. Mercedes specifies HOAT coolant meeting the 325.0 spec. The dealer sells Mercedes branded coolant at $25 to $40 per gallon. The Xerix G05 formula, which meets the Mercedes 325.0 specification and is used in Mercedes factories filled by some production facilities, costs between $12 and $18 per gallon at any auto parts retailer in America. Read the specification number on the coolant container, not the brand name on the front. G05 compatible formulas meeting the MB 325.0 spec are available at Advance Auto, AutoZone, and O'Reilly for half the dealer price. Chemistry is what matters. The branding is irrelevant. Coolant keeps the engine temperatures controlled. Number 9 is the transmission filter kit that keeps your gearbox alive, and if you have been paying dealer prices for this service, you're going to want to sit down. Number 9. Transmission filter kit. If you have finally decided to service your Mercedes transmission fluid, do not buy the filter kit from the dealer. A Mercedes 7G Tronic transmission service kit, including the pan gasket, filter, and fluid, runs between $300 and $500 at the dealer. ECS tuning, FCP Euro, and Pelican parts stock. The exact OEM Phoebe or ZF service kit for between $120 and $200. Same components, same specifications, same fluid compatibility. FCP Euro includes a lifetime replacement guarantee on the parts they sell, which no Mercedes dealer offers on their parts counter. The transmission filter is a service item most owners skip entirely. Number 8 is a component most owners replace without ever questioning the price, and the gap between dealer and direct is one of the largest on this entire list. Number 8. Fuel injectors. Replacement. Fuel injectors for Mercedes. Direct injection engines run between $250 and $400 each at the dealer. On a 6-cylinder engine, a full injector set approaches $2,000 in dealer parts alone. Bosch, which manufactures the OEM injectors for most Mercedes petrol engines, sells remanufactured injectors through their own Bosch exchange program for between $70 and $130 each. Bosch remanufactured injectors are flow tested to factory specification before shipping. They carry the same Bosch engineering warranty and meet the same spray pattern tolerances as new units. The dealer is selling you the Bosch injector in a Mercedes box at 3 times the price. If this breakdown is changing what you do at your next service, subscribe right now. The second half of this list is where the biggest single purchase savings are hiding. Before buying any fuel injector, confirm the failure diagnosis. A failing injector on a direct injection. Mercedes produces a specific misfire pattern, a consistent cylinder, specific fault code that does not rotate between cylinders the way a coil failure does. Diagnose correctly before you spend money on parts. A $50 Autel code reader gives you the cylinder level data the dealer charges $150 to pull. Injectors deliver the fuel. Number 7 reads whether that fuel burned correctly, and the dealer oxygen sensor markup is one of the cleanest examples of badge pricing on this entire list. Number 7. Oxygen sensors. Mercedes oxygen sensors at the dealer run between $150 and $250 each. The Bosch OEM equivalent, again the same manufacturer supplying Mercedes directly, costs between $45 and $90 through Amazon or any major parts retailer. Match the part number precisely. Oxygen sensor failure on a Mercedes produces specific fault codes in the P013 and P014 range. Upstream and downstream sensors are different parts with different calibrations. Do not assume interchangeability. Confirm your engine code, confirm the sensor position, and match the Bosch part number exactly. Oxygen sensors read combustion quality after the fact. Number 6 controls the engine temperature that determines combustion quality in the first place, and a failed thermostat housing is one of the most overpriced dealer repairs on this list. Number 6. Thermostat and housing. Mercedes thermostat failure is one of the most common repairs on M272 and M273 engines. The dealer charges between $200 and $350 for the thermostat and housing assembly. The Waller or Bear OEM equivalent, which are the actual manufacturers supplying the Mercedes production line, costs between $60 and $120 through ECS tuning or Pelican parts. Always replace the thermostat housing O-ring simultaneously. On these engine families, the housing O-ring hardens and seeps after the first thermal cycle on a disturbed connection. The O-ring costs under $5. Ignoring it means pulling the housing again within 6 months. The thermostat regulates temperature by controlling coolant flow. Number 5 moves that coolant physically, and the water pump markup at the dealer is where a routine repair quietly becomes an expensive one. Number 5, water pump. This is where the savings become significant. Mercedes dealer water pump pricing on M272 and M273 engines runs between $300 and $500 for the part alone, the Phoebe-Bilstein or Graf OEM equivalent pump, which meets Mercedes factory tolerances and is used in European independent service networks. Costs between $90 and $180. Replace the water pump at the same time as the thermostat if you're already in that area of the engine. The labor overlap means you are paying for the same disassembly once instead of twice. This is standard practice at every reputable independent Mercedes specialist and saves between $200 and $400 in combined labor versus 2 separate services. The water pump moves coolant. Number 4 keeps oil from escaping the top of the engine, and if you replace this part at the dealer price without knowing what we are about to tell you, you are paying double for an incomplete repair. Number 4, valve cover, gasket set. Mercedes valve cover gaskets on the M272 and M273 engine families fail predictably between 80,000 and 100,000 miles. The dealer parts price for the complete gasket set runs between $250 and $400. The L-Ring or Victor Reinz equivalent, both of which are OEM gasket suppliers to Mercedes-Benz, cost between $60 and $120 per bank through FCP Euro or ECS tuning. Buy the complete kit that includes the spark plug tube seals. On these engines, the plug tube seals are part of the same service and are made from the same aging rubber. Replacing the gasket without the tube seals is an incomplete repair that will require revisiting the same job within 30,000 miles. The valve cover gasket seals oil inside the engine. Number 3 sits right below it in the firing order, and the dealer coil pack markup is one of the most consistent overcharges you will find on any Mercedes repair invoice. Number 3, coil packs. Mercedes ignition. Coil packs at the dealer run between $80 and $140 each. A complete set on a V8 is between $640 and $1,120 in dealer parts. The Delphi or Bremmy OEM equivalent coil packs cost between $25 and $55 each through Amazon, Rock Auto, or ECS tuning. When one coil fails, replace all coils on the affected bank simultaneously. Coil packs on the same bank have the same thermal history, the same number of firing cycles, and the same degradation timeline. If one fails at 90,000 miles, the others are within 10,000 miles of the same failure. Replace the bank. Use the savings from buying Delphi instead of dealer parts to cover the additional coils without exceeding the dealer price for a single coil replacement. Coil packs fire on demand every time you turn the key. Number 2 is the part that powers the entire car before the first coil even fires, and the dealer battery markup comes with a registration trap that doubles what you actually pay. Number 2, battery A. Mercedes OEM battery from the dealer runs between $250 and $400 plus registration labor. The Odyssey Performance or Bosch S5 AGM battery, both of which meet the Mercedes BCI group size and CCA requirements for your specific model, cost between $130 and $210 through Amazon or Battery Clerk. The critical step that most independent shops skip: register the new battery to your car's engine management system after installation. A Mercedes-compatible diagnostic tool, specifically the Autel MD808 or the iCarSoft MB2, costs between $150 and $250. It performs battery registration, reads fault codes, and resets service indicators for every future maintenance item on this list. That tool purchase pays for itself on the first battery registration it performs compared to dealer labor rates, and it continues paying back on every diagnostic visit you redirect away from the dealer for the life of the car. The battery powers everything electrical. Number 1 is the most expensive repair on the entire Mercedes maintenance calendar, and the gap between dealer pricing and what you should actually pay is so large most owners simply refuse to believe it until they see the part numbers side by side. Number 1, timing chain, kit. This is the one, the most expensive repair on the Mercedes maintenance calendar and the one with the largest gap between dealer pricing and independent OEM pricing. A Mercedes dealer timing chain kit for the M272 or M273 engine, including the chains, guides, tensioners, and gaskets, costs between $1,200 and $2,000 in parts alone. Labor on top of that runs between $1,500 and $3,000 depending on your market. The INA or IWIS timing. Chain kit, INA being the OEM supplier to Mercedes and a Schaeffler Group brand, costs between $350 and $600 through ECS Tuning, FCP Euro, or Pelican Parts. This is not an aftermarket substitute. INA manufactures the timing components that go into Mercedes engines on the production line. The dealer is selling you the same kit in a Mercedes box at 3 to 4 times the price. Find an independent Mercedes specialist, not a quick lube shop, not a general mechanic, but a shop that works on European vehicles daily, and supply your own INA kit. Independent labor rates run between $80 and $130 per hour versus dealer rates of $150 to $220 per hour. On a timing chain job, that labor rate difference alone represents between $700 and $1,500 in savings before the parts discount is calculated. The timing chain job done correctly at an independent shop with OEM INA parts costs between $1,100 and $2,200 all in. The same job at the dealer costs between $2,700 and $5,000. The engineering outcome is identical, the difference is entirely in markup and hourly rate. That is the full list. 17 parts, every single one overpriced at the dealer. Every single one available at half price or less from the same manufacturers supplying the Mercedes production line. The dealership is not your enemy, but their parts department is not your friend. Every dollar you keep by sourcing correctly is a dollar that stays in your pocket instead of subsidizing their parts counter overhead. If this list is changing how you approach your next service, subscribe and hit the notification bell right now. The next video is already on your screen. Click it before you close out and we will see you there. Drive smart, spend less, make your Mercedes last.